you're the proud owner of a Triumph Tiger with an Arrow can, so that's normally top of the range XC8 or XRT, this exhaust joint here comes under an awful lot of pressure and that clamp works loose. It's exacerbated apart from the center stand banging up on the rubber which is on the exhaust, and the fact this Arrow exhaust clamp here, which is different than the stock exhaust, only supports this exhaust can. It doesn't prevent it sliding backwards and forwards. So when that joint comes loose at the top there, it allows this whole can to move back. And this actually moves the rubber. Oh, there goes my bloody alarm. And this allows this rubber to move out the way. This center stand goes higher than it should. You can see the whole exhaust, when that joint is loose, if I put the stand down, bear with me, if I put the stand down, this whole joint, this whole exhaust, it's just been held on that front joint. It just, excuse me, and it just takes all the pressure, all the strain. There's nothing holding this exhaust. It's carbon or carbon look-alike, I don't know whether it's real carbon or not, probably is. Clamp flexes, but it also doesn't clamp this silencer. So this silencer can slide back and forward. As can be seen by the score marks here, about 1 centimetre. And that stand, when you're using it on and off, is banging into your exhaust all the time, and it's just that joint at the front getting that hammering all the time. And that metal to metal noise you can hear is actually the stand banging off the drive shaft. Nicely scalloping the casting, making a right mess of it. That's because there's a rubber missing on this side of the center stand that falls off if you wink at it. And obviously what's happened is that rubber started hitting this drive shaft and it falls off. It's not a great design to hold it on. So once your Arrow exhaust gets loose, the rubber only starts partially making on the right hand side. That means the rubber on the left hand side gets a hammering and drops off. That allows this exhaust to come up, bang the drive shaft. And it's actually scalloping very nicely there. Now the one thing I'll say is there's absolutely no quibble replacement by Triumph. Tomorrow they're replacing the new rubber. That's only a couple of quid. If it was just that, I'd just do it myself. But they're replacing this drive shaft, and they should be replacing the Arrow exhaust because that's all scuffed where it's been sliding up and down. But it isn't a great design. That bracket is merely supporting. That bracket is merely supporting that silencer. It's not stopping it sliding back and forward. So this poor old joint down here is doing all the work. So if you have a Triumph Tiger with an Arrow exhaust, keep an eye on that joint. Keep it nipped up. One of the spanners in the toolkit fits it. I think it's a 10mm. But a telltale sign is see if this rubber is not quite lining up with the stand. If you keep that front joint nipped up all the time, you shouldn't have a problem at all, ever. But I've nipped mine up and found it loose again after 200 kilometers. It is a problem in that this clamp should be clamping tight on this exhaust. So when Triumph replace this for me tomorrow, or the dealer I should say, I want to see whether this is still in this design, because it needs something else. That poor old front joint's taken all the grief, which is too much for it. I'll see what it's like when I get the bike back tomorrow. So I'll just show you that, how much it moves. That bracket is loose now, that front joint I should say. So I'll put the centre stand, I'll take the weight of the centre stand off the exhaust, and with just that front bracket, that front joint I should say, a little bit loose, the entire exhaust just wobbles like this. And that works its way away from the centre stand rubber and allows the centre stand to come far too far up. From a different angle, well, I put the stand down. You can see the amount of movement. This is how far this rubber moves out of the way. This whole thing is being held by that front joint. Once that becomes loose, this whole exhaust does this. This is why eventually this stand is going to hit your drive shaft on the other side. Because this carbon bracket up here. 2 is flexible. Well, first thing is it's flexible this way, but then it doesn't stop this exhaust riding back either. Let's hope that's sorted tomorrow. So the Triumph's back from the shop, all sorted by Triumph Dublin. New centre stand, new arrow exhaust, drive shaft patched up. It's a perfect nick. That's how the joint should look, with the shoulder fully in. So if yours isn't like that, loosen the roll off and get it pushed right in, and then you just might avoid the problem in the first place. And just keep an eye on that joint. New arrow exhaust, completely new. Well, yeah. That's what new is, isn't it, really? Completely new. So, this clamp doesn't look any different. So I'm going to have to keep an eye on that joint. But look, it's all been put right by Triumph. I just watch out for this now. If you're a proud owner of a Triumph Tiger 1200, like I am, there is one issue to be aware of. This exhaust joint down here, which you can't see at all because it's completely dark, so I need more light.